Hello everyone. How are you guys doing today? It's Friday, I know. Me, I'm doing okay. Not bad. Hmm. So we're actually done with 10.7, and today we're going to do 10.6. But before we move on to the 10.6, we are just going to do 3 questions from 10.7, which usually comes in the final exam, and they definitely will be in the English exam. And the homework for 10.7, including 10 point, what we did before, 10.4 or 3, something we did, right? Before 10.5. 10.5 and 10.7, their homework and due date is Tuesday midnight.
Last homework was 10.2 and 10.5.
So 10.5, we finished.
Yeah.
Oh, then you have only 10.7.
But the due date was in December.
Yeah,
Because I totally forgot to change
That's
it.
okay. We're still
Thank you so much for doing it. I'll change it. You know, the reason I don't like logging into Brightspace anymore is the authenticator. Every time you have to authenticate, doing that. So that's why I don't log into Brightspace often anymore. I used to do it every single day, almost every single hour.
So the homework is someone the
10.7 is Tuesday midnight. Anything else? So most likely we'll be able to done with 10.6 today, which is solving radical equation. That means we'll be done with chapter 10 today. So on Tuesday, we are going to start chapter 11. And your next exam will be between, in the middle of chapter 11 or when you're done with chapter 11 that time. Not sure yet. But I'll try to make a review sheet based on chapter 10 and 11.
So okay. So
End of October.
okay.
Or middle of October, somewhere middle or end. Today is only 3. We still have at least 2 weeks. We have. Okay. Any question before we start? Any comments, concern, complaint? Nothing yet.
10.7 and 10.6.
10.6. Yeah, if you're done with 10.6. Or if you need more time, I can extend 10.6. But if you start doing 10.6, because it's not that hard. Okay, now the first question we have for today is reducing the power of I. Do you remember how do you reduce the power of I? There are so many ways to do it. You figure out which one is your favorite. Ready? So there are so many ways. And I showed you with part 2, divide everything by part 2. Or you can also divide by power 4. It's up to you. Now, if you have even, all you have to do is divide by power 2, divide the power by 2, or divide the power by 4. But if it's odd, then first you have to split, and then you do the same thing what you do for even number. So 37, is it odd or even? Odd. That means we need to split. I to the what? 36. You go everything together except 1. So I single and everything else gets a 36 power. And a 36 is even number. So it's divisible by 2 and also divisible by 4. Now, if you divide by 4, your life is a little bit easier than dividing by 2. If you divide it by power 4, can you divide 36 by 4? We can. If you can, that means the answer is 1. If you cannot, that means the answer is -1. So you have to remember these two concepts. Whatever you have, if you can't divide by power 4, then the outcome is 1. If you cannot divide by power 4, then the outcome is -1. Okay? So whatever power you have. So here we can divide 36 by 4. So outcome is 4. So outcome is 1. And we bring down our I. So what do we get in the first term? Just I. Now you're subtracting 70. Is 70 odd or even? Even. So we go and divide by 4 directly. Can you divide 70 by 4 evenly? That means here our answer is -1. And if you're not sure, you can try dividing 70 by 4. 7 goes to 4, 1. You get 3. Sorry, 4. 7 minus 4 is 3. You bring down your 0. Now you cannot divide 30 by 4. So 70 is not divisible by 4. If it's not divisible by 4, the answer is -1. Simple. Then we have the next term. 51. Is 51 odd or even? That means you have to split into 2 pieces. What do you get in the first piece? I to the 50. And then a single I. And now do the same thing to the 50. Can you divide 50 by 4? So the answer is -1. And you bring down your I. So from here, we have -1. That gives us +1. In the third term, we have -1 times I. That gives us -I. Let me make a boundary for each one of them so you can see. Actually, I should have put the boundary to the last line, before the last line. Here, here, here. The last one, 84. Is 84 odd or even? Even. Can you divide 84 by 4 evenly? Yes. So the answer is +1. So we bring down our negative sign, and the division gives us 1. So from here, we get -1. So the first term is I, second term is 1, third term is -I, fourth term is -1. So what if you combine all of them, what's the final answer? -I, +I cancel out. -1, +1 cancel out. The answer is 0. Any question? So here we cannot divide, here we can divide, here we can divide, here we should not divide. Any question, comments? So last class I showed you with 2 power, and today I showed you with 4 power. Whatever is easier. And then there are other methods. If you divide by 4, you have a remainder 0, then you have one solution. If the remainder is 1, then another answer, remainder 2, another answer, remainder 3 is another answer. So people tend to memorize those 4 remainder thingy. But you don't have to memorize anything if you use 2 power. And you have to memorize only 2 things if you use 4 power. Okay, the next question says rationalize. It only says rationalize. It didn't mention top or bottom. Do you remember what did I say? For imaginary number, you always rationalize what? The bottom, denominator. So we have 4 and I. Does 4 have any problem here? No. Does I have a problem here? Yes. So our problem is to get rid of the I. So what do you multiply by? Only I. We multiply numerator and denominator by only the I, not 4I, only I. So on the numerator, you distribute, you get 5I plus 3I squared. And the denominator, we get 4I squared. And then what do you do? What is I squared? -1. So what do we have on the numerator? 5i minus 3, and the denominator? -4. We have done it rationalization, but we cannot stop. Why not? What is our next step? Daniel. We're going to split them up, no problem. 5i over -4 minus 3 over -4. So 3 cancel out. We have 5i over -4 and then plus 3. Sorry, 5 plus 3. What's 3 over 4? Can you stop now? So what is our last step? What's wrong with this now? It has to be a plus b. I mean, it's the real number first and then the imaginary portion. So our real number is 3/4 positive, and our imaginary number is -5 over 4, -5i over 4. So -5i over 4. So it's A and BI format. And now finally we are done. We have no more issue. Any question? So now the second type of denominator. How many terms do we have on the denominator? 2. Now, can you just multiply by I when you have 2 terms on the denominator? No, it doesn't solve any problem. So what do we multiply by? Conjugate. What is our conjugate? 7 plus 4i. So the denominator, what benefit we get by multiplying by conjugate? What do we get in the denominator? 7 square minus 4 square I square. So we square every unit on the denominator, and the sign is always negative, always. It's square minus square. So let's keep doing the denominator. 7 square is 49. What is I square? -1. And what is 4 square? 16. So we have -16 times -1. So what do we get? +16. So when we add 49 and 16, 64. 6 and 9 gives us 5, sorry, not 4. And we have 4 plus 1, 5 plus extra 1, 6. So we are happy. That was our goal. Get rid of the I from the denominator, get a real number. We get our real number 65. But what do we do on the numerator? Distribute. Distribute or FOIL. So if you are confident about your FOIL, you do everything in one step. But if you're not confident about your FOIL, you messed up things. Then for you, your FOILing should be take the first term and multiply the entire second term. Then take the second term on the first factor and multiply the entire thing. 7 plus 4. So this is for you who is not good in FOILing. I have seen many papers where people don't know how to FOIL. So if you don't know how to FOIL, no problem. Do this line first. And now you are not FOILing, you're just distributing. So you know how to distribute. So what do you get? The numerator. 7 times 5, 35 plus 20i, and then plus 21i, and lastly plus 12i squared. Again, what is I squared? -1. And we have like terms here. Plus 20 plus 21i. So we have our 35. And when you combine the middle, what do we get? 41i. And the plus 12i squared turns into -12. That means we have like terms now here. 35 minus 12. 23. So 23 minus 41i. So plus, thank you, over 65. But then what do we do? Separate them. 23 over 65 plus 41i over 65. Now it's finally done. Any question? So expect to see at least one of these three in the final exam. They'll definitely put. Also, they like to put multiplication like this. Either it's multiplication or division, or it's both in the final exam. And then sometimes they put reducing the power of I. But definitely one of these three from the imaginary section. Ready? With this, we are done and reviewed the 10.7. And now we are going to do 10.6. In 10.6, we are going to solve radical equation. When you solve radical equation, there are two things you should keep in mind. One, radical is like a bodyguard, very strong bodyguard. So you cannot solve a radical equation if you don't have a radical term alone in one side. When radical term has anything, plus something, minus something, or multiplied by something or divided by something, it's very strong. So it's like the bodyguard with some weapon, okay? If you have anything else next to your radical, you cannot solve it. So your first step is always get your bodyguard alone. So take out all of the weapon from your bodyguard, make him weak. Once it's weak, then we can apply square and we can get to the radical. So you cannot do anything without making it single on one side. That's one thing. The next thing you have to remember is that just because you are done with solving, it doesn't mean whatever answer you got, they're correct. You always have to check your answer by substituting back into the original equation. The two solution or the three solution or the solution you got, are they correct? Are they really real solution, or they're just weird solution? Sometimes you get some numbers by solving radical, but when you try to check them, it doesn't work. Those type of solution, you call them extraneous solution. Means we got them by solving, but actually they are not real. They are bad solution. So two things you have to remember. Here I have a worked out problem. Let's go over that. Our problem started with 2x minus 3 under the radical, and it has a weapon -1 next to that. Our goal is to solve for x, means get the x alone. So 2x minus 3 minus 1 equals 8. Since -1 is next to the radical, that means we need to get rid of that first. This is our first problem. get rid of -1. So what do we do to get rid of -1? We add 1. So first problem solved. And now the radical is alone. And we have 9 on that side. So this time we can get rid of the radical, or we can kill the radical by applying its opposite thing. What is the opposite of square root? Square power. So we apply square power on both. The radical and the power, they kill one another. And we left to it the radicand 2x minus 3. And we are happy. No more radical. And what do you have on the other side? 81. And now all you have to do is get the x alone. So it's normal algebra, the basic algebra. We add 3. So we get 2x equals 84. We're adding, right? And now divide by 2 means half of 84. What is half of 84? 42. But just because we got 42, it doesn't mean it's correct. We have to check, is it correct or is it an extraneous solution? So you have to go back to the original equation. 2x minus 3 minus 1 equals 8. Or you can use the second line. This thing is equals 9. Either one you have to use, the first line or the second line. Now you have to check if your x is 42, then do you get the outcome 9? So let's multiply 2 times 42 minus 3. What is 2 times 42? 84. And if you subtract 3 from 84, 81. And if we take the square root of 81, we have exactly what we needed. So we accept the solution x equals 32. And that's all we're going to do. Make your radical alone so that you can square both sides. And then at the end, substitute back on the first line or the second line to see if you have the left side equals right side. Any question? And in the final exam, you have at least one solving radical. Okay, let's try this one. We have negative square root of 20x plus 8 equals -2. Question number 1. Is our radical term alone? No. So it has two bodyguards, the negative in the front and plus 8 on the right. Which one we get rid of first? 8. So what do we do? Subtract 8 from both sides. We get square root of -20x equals -10. You can cancel directly, but if you want to see why you can cancel, it means you're multiplying or dividing by a -1. So 20x under the radical is 10. And you can do this mentally now, right? 20 times what? 20 to the square root, turn into 10. This is basically asking 20 times what number? 20 to the square root turns into 10. It's 5. 20 times 5 is 100 and square root of 100 is 10. So you can do it mentally. But if you don't want to do it mentally, then you're going to do algebra. We square both sides. So square and square root cancel out. We get only the radicand 20x. 20x equals what? 100. And now to get the x alone, what is the last step? By 20. So x is 5. But just because we got 5, it doesn't mean we can stop. You have to check. Is it correct? So you can use the first line or you can use the second line. Or in this case, we can also use the third line. We have square root of 20x is 10. So we know our x is 5. And square root of 20 times 5 is 100. And square root of 100 is 10. Exactly what we wanted. So it's accept our solution. It is x equals 5. Any question? So these two examples are easy. How about the next one? Question number 1. Is the radical term alone on one side? Radical term alone. Is it alone on one side? No. What do we have with the radical term? What is our problem here? Minus x. So how can you solve this minus x problem? Add x. So we are going to add x to both sides. So we have square root of 2x minus 1 equals x minus 2. We have plus x minus 2 means x minus 2. X minus 2 is too small. Let me actually all these are x minus 2. Now use the radical term alone. So what do you do? Square both sides. 10.6. What happens to the radical and square? Cancel out. So we have 2x minus 1. And what do you think we should do on the right side? Good job. It's not distribution. It's foiling. So the difference between the last two examples and this one is that in the last two examples, when you squared both sides, we had just a number. So we just simply squared that. But now we don't have only number, we have variable and number. And it's a subtraction or addition. So we have to FOIL, not distribute. Or you can use a special formula, a square minus 2ab plus b square. If you do use FOIL, you have to do FOILing this way. 2x minus 1 equals, and if you use formula, the special formula, it's x squared minus 4x plus 4. You're going to get that up with the foiling. So now we have a quadratic on one side and a linear equation on one side. How do you solve? How? Good. Bring everything to one side so you can see a 0. We cannot solve anything unless we see a 0 for anything higher than 1 degree. Not always true. When you have more x's, more than 1x, and you're trying to solve, you have to bring everything to one side. So we subtract 2x from both sides, and we add 1 to both sides. So the left side becomes 0. And what do you on the other side? Minus 6x and plus 5. So now it's a nice quadratic equation. Factoring, good job. You're looking for two numbers. When you multiply, you get 5. And when you combine, you get negative 6. multiply to 5, combine to 6. Minus 5 and minus 5 minus 1. Minus 5 minus 1. Yep. Negative 5 minus 1 is positive 5. True. And negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6. So minus 5 minus 1. Most people make mistake here with 2 and 3. No, not this one, the other one. 5x minus 6, the other one. This one is easy. The two numbers 5 has is only 5 and 1. So we have to have 5 and 1. Okay, anyway, so we have x minus 5, x minus 1 equals 0. And how do you solve them? Set each one to 0. So x equals and x equals 1. So this we have two solutions because we have a quadratic here, square. Are we done? We must check. When you check, you have to use a radical equation. You cannot use anything that doesn't have any radical because our problem is with the radical. So you can use either the first line or the second line, but you definitely cannot use the third line because the third line doesn't have any radical. So let me use the second line. Square root of 2x minus 1 equals x minus 2. I don't need the parentheses. You can use the original equation or you can use this one. And you have to take both of them. So let me write twice. You must. Otherwise, no point. So first x is 5. And second x is 1. So we are going to replace x and 1 twice. So 2 times 5 minus 1 under the radical should give us the answer 5 minus 2. What is 2 times 5? So we have 10 minus 1. And what is 5 minus 2? 2. And now what is 10 minus 1? And what is square root of 9? 3. Do we have the same number on the left side and the right side of the equal sign? Yep. So we are happy. We are going to accept x equals 5 as our solution. Now let's see what happens to the next one. 2 times 1 minus 1 under the radical gives us 1 minus 2. So we have 2 minus 1 under the radical. And what do you have on the other side? So what is 2 minus 1? And what is square root of 1? What number when you multiply twice, you get 1? 1. Do we have the same number? No, they're not same. So can you accept x equals 1 as our solution? No, this is extraneous solution. We got the solution, but it's not correct. It's a fake solution. External solution are like fake solution. It's like fake chicken. You know, vegan people, they eat fake chicken. So like, how can chicken be fake? Like, I don't understand the concept. Someone always tell me like, today I ate fake chicken. It's like, how chicken can be fake? And like, how does it even taste? How it tastes like fake chicken? So external solution is like fake chicken. It's not chicken, it's not meat, it's fake. Same thing, it's not solution, it's fake. Any question?
Instead of checking, doesn't always have to be correct on both. And then, what would you say on exam for this second solution?
Second is an extraneous, so we don't accept that. Our only solution is x equals 5. So you say solution is x equals 5. This is what you write. You can write reject, but you also have to mention which one is the real solution. And in the multiple choice, this will be the multiple choice part. In the multiple choice, they'll give you all sort of choices. X equals 1, x equals -1, x equals 5, x equals 1 and 5, x equals 0, x equals none. Like they'll confuse you with all sort of solution, all sort of answer. You have to be careful which one you choose. Okay? Here, just because you see 1 and 5, you cannot say solution is 1 and 5. You have to check and see both solution are correct or not. Here, only one of them is correct, other one is not. That's how you have to check, because not always they work. Any other question? Okay, now you have 20. Let me put them together. How many I have? Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let me put all of this together so you can do them too. One, two. Mhm. Then one more. Oops. Okay, go ahead. You try them. You can work with the neighbors. You don't have to work alone. And I'll be back. Done or almost done? Why is it paper, Danielle? So you're done.
Yeah, if you're reading like it seemed like
Okay. I'll put you in my attendance list. GM, right?
I just slides for
Yeah. And I returned your exam, right? I returned your exam.
No, I get myself.
Brian V. Brennan. Belisa. Asmain. Denisa, right? Oh, Teresa. Huge difference. Denisa. Denisa Ferrer. Ferrer. Asmain. Jonathan. Chloe. Chloe, not Andrew. So no Denisa. No Ajmain. No Chloe. Let me take that 10 best one. Today is 10-3. Ashley. Michael. Lady. Absent. Lola. Yeah. Reina. Ali. That's true. Denisa. Farah. Absent. Samantha. Nicole. Andy. Priya. Katie. George. Mariana. Danielle here. Fatomata. Restaurant. Ajmain. Absent. Huey. Chloe. Absent. Ethan. Kathleen. Brennan here. Rahim here. Shahana here. Leonardo. Brian R. Jan here. Brian V here. Alex. Anastasia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 absents. Okay, are you guys ready? Okay, let's go over one by one. Let me call people today. Leonardo, help me with the first one, please. Okay, no problem. Tell me, what do you think the first step is? You don't have to be correct. Wrong answer is perfect. Good. So square both sides. Perfect. So what happens to the square and square root? Great. See, it is also correct. And what happened to the right side? X minus t twice. So we have 2x minus 3. And when you FOIL, what do you get? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Almost correct. The 9x is actually not the 9x, it's 6x. That's because we have x times x, x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So when you add two terms, you keep the sign, but actually add them, not multiply them. So it's minus 6x instead of minus 9x. So it's x squared minus 6x plus 9. So far, perfect. And now what do we do? So you subtract 2x and you add the 3. You already have 2x minus 3. You have to get rid of them. You do the opposite sign. So you have 0 on one side. It's not 4x. Yeah, same sign. Anytime you have same sign, what do? You keep the sign, but actually add. Yeah, same sign. You keep the sign, but you add the number. Okay, Ali, go ahead, complete it. Tell me what do we do next. Multiply to 12. No, multiply to 12. 3 and 6. Negative 8. 6 has to be negative because the middle term is negative. That means 2 also has to be the same sign. So x minus 6, 0. X minus 2, 0. So how much is the x? And 2. Are we done? Check. So we have 2x minus 3 under the radical should give us the same number as x minus 3. If your x is 6, yeah, 2 minus 6 minus 3, so 2 times 6 minus 3 should give us 6 minus 3. So that is 2 times 6. 12 minus 3. What is square root of 9? 3. And how about 6 minus 3? 3. Do you have the left side and right side same? So we accept x equals 6, x our solution. Now x equals 2. 2 times 2 minus 3 under the radical should give us 2 minus 3. What is 2 minus 3? Positive or negative? So this side is negative 1. How about the left side? 2 times 2? And what is square root of 1? They are not same. So x equals 2. We cannot fix that. 6.
This is your all signatures are correct. For an exam, it's usually one.
It depends. Sometimes both work, sometimes none of them work. When none of them work, we send a solution. When both works, we accept both. And when one works, we only take one. Okay, Jannah, you can leave. Let's see. Michael, help me with the next one, please. Good. Subtract 4. Which is x minus 4. X is positive, 4 is negative, so you can simply write x minus 4. Square both sides. So what do you get from foiling? No, 4 square. So x times x, x square. This is negative 4x. This is negative 4x, and this is positive. So how many x's you have total? Negative 4x, negative 4x. Negative 4x, negative 4x. Positive or negative? You keep the sign. You keep the sign, but actually add the number. So it's negative 8x.
Always have to have the nine.
When you have same sign, you always have to add, but keeping the sign. If they're different sign, then they cancel out. But same sign, you keep the sign, but you add the numbers.
Okay, same sign, but it's
When you multiply the same thing twice, you're supposed to get the same sign. If you have conjugate, they have different sign. But when you multiply the same thing, you always get same thing twice. Why? Michael, go ahead, finish it. Subtract 3x, add 8. Same sign, so you keep the sign. And then you have same sign, so keep the sign. 24. Perfect. What's next? Now you have to factor. You split your x square into x and x, 2 pieces. And also you have to split it 24. Which two numbers, when you multiply, you get 24, but when you add, you get negative 11. For example, 24 is 2 and 11. Sorry, 3 and 12. If you combine them, do you get 11? No. Then it's 3 and 8. If you combine them, do you get 11? So it has to be 8 and 3. And then you have to decide your sign. The bigger of this factor has to get the middle sign. That's the rule. So which one is B? 8 or 3? So 8 has to be negative. That means what sign 3 has to have in order to get 11 from negative 8? So negative 8 plus 3 or negative 8 minus 3. Which one will give you negative 11? Negative. So that's how you decide your sign. Negative 8 times negative 3, positive 24. So multiply to C, combine to B.
There's a history of like the same thing here in this example. And there's examples where I guess it as well.
If it's negative, then 8 and 3 doesn't work.
What if both 11 and 24 were negative?
That means your factor doesn't work, right? Because if you multiply, then you get positive 24. You have negative 24, that means 8 and 3 cannot be your factor. So you have two choices. You look for other two factors, and if you find no other factors that will give you 24 and 11, that means it's not factorable. You cannot use factoring method, you have to use other methods, like quadratic formula. So Michael, what do you do next? So x minus 80, x minus 30. So what is x? And 3. So are we done? Now comes the important part. Check. You can either use the first line or the second line, but you have to use the line which is a radical. So 3x minus 8. Let me use the second line because it has the radicals down on one side. So first number is 8. So 3 times 8 minus 8, and it's 8 minus 4. What is 3 times 8? 24 minus 8. So here's square root of 16. What is square root of 16? Not 8, 4. And how about 8 minus 4? 4. We have the same number on both sides of the equal sign. Yeah, so we are going to accept x equals 8 as our solution. It's correct. Then we check the next one. Square root of 3 times 3 minus 8. It has to be 3 minus 4. What is 3 minus 4? Negative 1. 3 times 3? 9 minus 8. 9 minus 8. 1. So you have square root of 1. What is square root of 1? 1. Do you have the same number? No. If you don't know the answer is plus minus 1. For example, here it's square root of 1. What number when you multiply twice becomes 1? Sorry. Here you're not solving a variable. When you, for example, when you have x squared equals 1 and you're taking the square root, so you know x is square root of 1. So you're looking for x. What number when you square becomes 1? You have two choices, either plus 1 or minus 1. Here you're not looking for a number. They already gave you the number. It's 1. Sure. So let me skip this page. Go ahead. Minus 4, minus 4. So negative cube root of x minus 8 is negative 4 divided by negative gives us positive cube root of x minus 8 equals positive 4. We apply the 3 cube on both sides. Good job if you get that out. It's cubic powers. And what is 4 to the third power? 64. Add 8. So that's equals 72. For odd number, actually, it's up to you. For odd powers, the checking is not a requirement. But for even, you always have to check. So we have x minus 8. Yeah, we can use that. We have cube root of x minus 8 equals 4. So 72 minus 8. What is 72 minus 8? 64. And what is cube root of 64? Means what number, when you multiply 3 times, becomes 64? 4. Do you have the same number on both sides? So we exit our solution. Any question in this? Any comments, concern, complaint? With this, what is one more question? One more. Who would like to do the last one? Any volunteer for the last one? Andy, IPQ. Square both sides. 8x minus 3 equals. Perfect. Next. So plus 3 plus 3 minus 8x minus 8x. You have negative signs, so you have to keep your negative sign. And then 16x. What do you factor? 6 and 16, they both are what type of number? 6 and 16, they both are what type of number? Even number. Every even number is divisible by what? 2. So you can divide both sides by 2. So here 0 equals 3 minus 8x. Your goal is to get this x alone. So what do you have to do? Subtract 3. Negative 3 equals negative 8x. By what? You're supposed to get the x alone. So what do you have with the x? Negative 8. So what is your x? X equals? But you're double negative. So what happens to double negative? They cancel out. Yeah, right. Now checking looks hassle, but actually checking is not bad. When they have a fraction, but it doesn't matter. Check. We have 8x minus 3 and then 3 minus 8x. It's 8 times 3, 8 minus 3 and 3 minus 8 times 3, 8. What do you observe? 8 times 3, 8. They cancel out. It is on the numerator, it is on the denominator. Same thing here. It is in the numerator, it is in the denominator. They cancel out. What is left then? 3 minus 3. And same thing here. Do you have the exact same thing on both sides? Mm-hmm. 0 is a real, right? Square root of 0 is 0. It's a real number. We don't have to solve anything else because you already see exact same two things. And with this, you're done with chapter 10. So any question on anything on chapter 10? Mm-hmm. Exactly. There are so many ways you can do it. For example, instead of moving everything to the right side, you can actually move everything to the left side because your left 8x is positive. So why not keep it as positive? So starting from the next line, you could do 8 minus 3x. So 8x minus 3. And you subtract 8x. So you add 8x and you add 3 to both sides. So you get 16x plus 6 equals 0. And now you are familiar with this format, right? You know that to get the epsilon, you need to subtract 6 from both sides. And then you need to divide 16 by both sides. Wait, it's minus x. Minus 3, sorry. So it's 3 over 8. Any other question or observation or anything? Any comments, concern, complaint? Now in your homework, I think there is another question with double square roots. Let me see the homework. Mm. Uh-huh. So now I go to the homework directly. 10.6. So this is easy. This one is easy. This one is easy. This one is easy. This one. Yeah, double critical.
Ask something that's in the previous the homework and it's gonna be good. I think it's necessary states like in writing the Bronx or like
In the homework or in the quiz?
so yeah, so like kind of like that's what I get points down by hearing it on the line. It's like for that for this chapter with this homework. Stuff how we are writing it for this. It is exactly as it like accepted by my
Um,
because it just feels like I'm not doing I wasn't doing mistake like like in terms of like how I was like doing this. It's just that it was a part.
so do the homework. When you do the homework, they will tell you about the format.
Okay.
So once you know your mistake and the correct format, keep it recorded. So we only take the quiz, don't make the same mistake. That you will know like what my MATLAB wants. That's why many times, like I said in class, like this is what the format my MATLAB wants, and this is the format I don't care. X minus 1, x plus 2. X minus 1, x plus 2. Actually, limit type so then it doesn't get erased later. Square of x minus 1 of x plus 2 equals 3. Ah, why did it go? Come on. Reset. Oh, let me check again one more time. Minus 1 plus 2, 3. Okay, minus 1 plus 2, 3. Square root of x minus 1, x plus 2 equals 3. Okay. Now, why do you have double radical? That means here to the double work. So step 1 is same. You have to get at least one, not at least, you must have one radical alone on one side. You must. On the left side, you have 2 radicals, it's not acceptable. You have to have one radical, not 2, one radical on one side. So either subtract the first one or the second one, it doesn't matter, but get rid of one of them. So let's get rid of the second one. What did here? X minus 1 plus x plus 2 equals 3. So subtract the second one or first one, it doesn't matter. We get square root of x minus 1 equals 3 minus square root of the other one. So step 1 is same. Get one radical alone. And once you have one radical alone, the step 2 is same. You square both sides. The power is not distributable when you are adding or subtracting. You have to use FOIL twice. You must, because there is no rule for distribution. Only in multiplication. In division, you can distribute the power. For addition, subtraction, it cannot distribute the power. So to multiply the same thing twice. And then you get the same thing. 3 times 3, 9. 3 times your radical, negative 3 square root of x minus 2. So you cannot multiply them. You put them next to one another. You cannot combine them. Now this way, same thing, negative 3 and then square root of x minus 2. You cannot combine them because it doesn't have any radical. It's whole number 3. And lastly, you have negative of these twice. So negative x minus 2 2 of them. So it's 2 power. Do you see any like terms here? These are like terms. They're the exact same thing with the same sign. So same sign means what do you have to do? Keep the sign, remember? Keep the sign, but add the number. So you have 3 square root and 3 square root. How many square do you have? 6 of them. 6 square root of x minus 2. And what happens to the last term? Your square root of square. Cancel out. Minus x, but plus 2 because, see, you're subtracting. Actually, let me do this way. So you can see why. You're subtracting x minus 2. Anytime you subtract more than one element, you must put parentheses. Sorry, minus sign to plus. This is plus, first of all. George, what question you have? They're not conjugate. They're the exact same 2 things. I didn't write x plus 2, right? It's 3 minus x minus 2 squared. So you have plus, so it's subtracting the 2 sides. We are subtracting the same thing from both sides. Why are you subtracting? That's a mistake. Wow. See, I didn't even catch that. Sorry. This is plus. Plus. You should have told me before. I didn't notice that. Sorry about that. Yeah. Unless you change the question. No. But if you change the question, then we might not get any solution. But you got the idea, right? You have to change, you have to subtract one of them, and then you have to FOIL. So here we have plus 2, and here we have the same thing twice. So minus and minus plus, that's squared. So we don't change any sign, it's x plus 2. And then can you guess what do we do? Plus, yeah, plus, sorry. Bring everything to one side. Minus x, plus 1. So we have 0 equals, plus and minus cancel out. Yeah, 2 plus 1, 3, right? That 3 and that 9, you can combine them. So 12 minus 6 square root of x plus 2. So we have 12 minus 6 square root of x plus 2 equals 0. And now it begins a new question, a new problem. This time we have only one radical, so you know what to do. What is our first step? Move radical to one side. So either move 12 or move that, no problem. Let's move 12 to both sides. So we get negative 6. X plus 2 equals negative 12. Divide both sides by negative 6, because our goal is to get the radical term alone. So we have equals 2. And now square both sides. So they cancel out. X plus 2 is 4. Mm-hmm. X equals 2. But are we done? We must, because it's an even roots. Anytime you have even root, you have to check. So we have x minus 1 plus x plus 2, and the answer we want to be 3. So let's see. We have 2 minus 1 and 2 plus 2. What is 2 minus 1? And 2 plus 2. What is square root of 1? Square root of 4. And what is 1 plus 2? Do you have the same thing? Yep. We have 3 on the other side, right? Yeah, 3, and we found the 3 on the left side. So answer is correct. Good news, this will not be in the exam, the double-sided. No. 2 of them will not be in the exam. And I never seen it in the final exam also.
Okay.
I have an exam on Monday to check, so I cannot do it. Yeah. After next week, I'm going to start giving you quiz again.
Okay. Which have 10.6 also.
10.6, 10.7.
I was gonna say no.
But sorry, I was about to say after next week, you will need a break before we have the next like big race, which you will need to pray.
Oh, that's
Yeah, exam, but I'm going to give you one question quiz. Then I have to grade a big quiz.
Other question focused on when it comes to factoring, like how come for this one we did 8x and then for this one we did 24?
No, here we didn't do this. Factoring rule is 2 numbers has to multiply to 6.
Okay.
Combine to, not 6, so it's C, and combine to B. So you have ax squared plus dx plus c. A is invisible. So if you have this format, in factoring rule is multiply to C, but combine to B. So look at 12. 6 times 2 is 12.
Okay.
So you know it's 6 and 2. And whatever sign you have here, the sign has to be here. So it should be a negative sign, not positive sign. The bigger sign gets the middle sign. The bigger factor. Now, if you have negative 6 and you want to get negative 8, it definitely need a negative 2, not a positive 2. So that's how you got that. Here you have 24. So 2 numbers multiply to 24 combined to negative 1. So 24 is 2 times 12. So it doesn't work. Then you have 3 times 8. Because 8 is 24 and plus is 12, 11. It works. So it's 8 and 3. So whatever sign you have, it has to go to the 8 always. Now from 8, negative 8, if you want to go to negative 11, you need a negative 3.
Thank you.
No problem.
And on your case, you have the thing for the notification.
Yeah,
How somebody prevent that?
I got it from Hunter. So for instructor, we can get
Oh,
it.
okay, okay.
But
Because on the phone it gets annoying always.
yeah, so you can go to BCTC or the IT department and tell them it's called token.
Oh, okay,
Ask
okay.
them, can I have a physical token instead of a one of it?
Oh, okay, okay. Okay.
Mm.
Thank you.
Okay, so I've only done 8.1, but that was on the free trial. I just have to get issues, right? And my card is not really locked, but I can't use it.